I was standing at the church doors in a black dress, my two sons gripping my hands like I might disappear if they let go. When the contractor called, the bells were already warming their throats. That low hum before grief becomes noise. Then his voice changed. "Ma'am, I need you to come see what we found." Pause. "Don't come alone. Bring your sons." I didn't ask why. Because some part of me already knew. The past doesn't stay buried. It waits. Like a blade left exactly where someone meant to come back for it. And that phone call was the sound of the blade being picked up. People said I was strong. That's what they always say when a woman doesn't collapse the way they expect her to. I didn't scream at my husband's funeral. I didn't faint. I didn't need to be held up by relatives who barely knew him. I stood straight. Hands folded. Face calm. They mistook that for resilience. It wasn't. It was control. Control is what you cling to when the ground opens beneath your feet and you realize falling apart won't save you. My husband and I met young. He smelled like ink and ambition. Always came home with pen stains on his fingers and ideas in his head. He worked in finance. Small firm. Clean reputation. His office walls were lined with framed ethics quotes. One of them said, "Honesty costs less than lies." He used to say it like a joke. I believed him because belief is how love works in the beginning. It edits reality. We built a neat life. 2 sons. A modest house. Sunday church pew, same spot every week. He worked late. I trusted early. That was my first mistake. The signs didn't come screaming. They whispered. A file missing from a shelf that had been full the day before. A drawer suddenly locked where there used to be a pen cup. Phone calls he took outside, rain or not. I noticed everything. I just didn't comment. Grief teaches you how to observe without bleeding. Then the evidence arrived the way truth usually does. By accident. An email forwarded to the wrong account. My name misspelled. A shell company I'd never heard of. And my husband's signature. Used where it didn't belong. I remember sitting at the kitchen table long after midnight, the house quiet except for the refrigerator hum, rereading the email again and again. This wasn't an affair. This was theft. From clients. From partners. From the very church we prayed in every Sunday. And when I followed the trail far enough, I found the man who benefited the most. His best friend. His business partner. Godfather to our sons. The same man who stood beside me at the funeral. Hand on my shoulder. And called my husband a saint. The official story said my husband collapsed. Stress. Heart issue. Plain. Simple. False. The truth. He wasn't sick. He was running. Running from what he'd helped build. And from the man who helped him build it. I didn't scream when I realized that. I didn't confront anyone. Because rage makes mistakes. And I don't make mistakes. I planned. I hired a forensic accountant under the guise of estate cleanup. I let the church elders believe I was a grieving widow seeking closure. I fed my husband's partner exactly what he wanted. Sympathy. Time. I asked for advice. I asked for help. I let him feel powerful. And when he got careless, I documented everything. Every transfer. Every forged signature. Every lie told with a smile. A year passed. The office sat untouched. Sacred. Rotten. Like a tomb waiting to be opened. When I finally decided to sell the office, I hired a renovation company. Clean slate, they said. That's when the wall came down. Literally. Behind a false panel. They found a safe. Inside it, ledgers. Hard drives. Original contracts. And a handwritten note. My husband's handwriting. Precise. Controlled. If you find this, I failed. My son stood beside me as I read the truth aloud. Not the version people wanted. The real one. He had planned to expose everything. He hid the evidence to protect his children. He just didn't live long enough to finish. The church bells outside stopped ringing. I called the partner. Told him I was ready to sell. Told him I needed advice. He arrived confident. Still wearing my husband's watch. I didn't raise my voice. I slid the ledgers across the desk. Then the hard drive. Last. He paled in stages. Denial. Bargaining. Rage. You could stop this, he whispered. I smiled. For the first time in a year. I already did. The trial was efficient. The fallout, surgical. He lost his firm. His reputation. His seat in the pew. The church recovered every dollar. My husband's name was cleared. Not as a saint, but as a man who tried to do the right thing. Too late. I sold the office. Donated the proceeds to the victims. My sons sleep better now. So do I. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it calls you right when you think the worst is over. And reminds you that the dead don't stay silent. They just choose the right moment. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. Tell us in the comments. Do you believe justice always comes, or only if someone makes it? And if you want more stories where betrayal meets its reckoning, subscribe. Because revenge doesn't always scream. Sometimes it rings like church bells.